Good morning, everybody. My name is Block, and in this video, I'm going to show you the 1.19 snapshot building blocks. Now, with these blocks, you can build a lot of things. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the tips and tricks of how to build with them. Now, this isn't a how-to build with them, this is just what you can do with them, in my opinion. So, we got all the good blocks here. We got all of the boats with the chests. Then we got all the Skulk blocks, the frog lights, the mangrove blocks, and the mud blocks. So now that we've taken a little bit of a look at all the blocks, let's get started. Now, with all the mud variant blocks, I did struggle with this a lot. Sure, you can make a lot of probably cool houses with this. Well, I tried an attempt at a small little hut. But I think it does well in a gradient form. So I tried a whole bunch of blocks. So I tried this sort of rooted in dirt type of gradient. And I think that does work really well. However, it does not work with these blocks. Maybe the jungle, but it does not really work with that. So here I was testing some stuff out, and I did notice that the mud bricks and the packed mud work really well with each other. I mean, obviously, they're both of the same family, so they would work together, but I think that this works well as a path. So what I did was I made a little bridge, a little stairway, and I think it looks really good, and I think it works really well with each other. I also used some of the jungle, because that also works really well with it. And I thought, maybe we should just mix them all together. So I made this little broken down house. So as you can see here, we got all the dirt, we got all the mud and packed mud. We also have this little bed area with a little bit of privacy with the brown banners. We have a chest, a mangrove, I think, root. We also got a frog here. And I think that is a good sort of style to go with. Now, mangrove, I think, has a lot more options. Here we got an animal pen with the mangrove bark and the mangrove trapdoors. We also have some mud. You can put a little animal in there. And I think that also the mud that has the little roots in it also works with this, because it looks like animal stuff. And I think that does look really well. However, here's a better design. You've probably seen this floating around on the internet, but that looks like a piece of meat over a campfire. And I thought that was an amazing idea. I don't know who started it, but it looks really good, and I think that it does work well. Now, I think I messed it up with all the fences here, but I think you can get the main idea. Now, I was in a call with Potato Master the other day, and he said that this mangrove door looks like it would go well with a hobbit house. And I love that idea, so I translated it here, and I think he was really right. This looks really good. It uses all of the mangrove blocks. Well, not all of them, but it uses most of them. The mangrove stairs, the mangrove trapdoors, and the mangrove door. Now, speaking of the trapdoors, you can make some really cool windows out of these. And what I thought was cool was that these trapdoors cover up the little glass tints and the glass outlines, which I think can help with most builds. And you can still see out of them, and I really do like the circular design. That was a really good choice on the developer's part. Now, another thing I think mangrove goes well with is warped wood. It definitely goes better with warped wood than crimson does. You see, it just looks nicer in my eyes. I don't know why, but it just looks so much nicer. It looks kind of like the same sort of pattern and texture, and it's a much nicer red than crimson, as I said before. So, I don't know, I just thought that this was a really good idea. Now, I'm just gonna go quickly by with these, but the weathered copper and the mangrove planks look good. I don't know what I built here, but I think it does look good, again, with the warped. I built another house with the mangrove door, and I think that dark oak goes well with it. And of course, you cannot forget the dirt house, and mangrove does make it better. Now, if you're into trees, I think that this is for you. Now, I'm not a great tree builder. I'm sure that some big building YouTuber could do this way better than I did. But I think that using these new mangrove leaves makes it look much more like a palm leaf or palm trees. You can also waterlog the leaves. I don't know why, but I think that that's a pretty cool detail. Now, something I didn't know until recently is how you get these little propagals. I think that's how you pronounce these. But basically, the mangrove saplings, how you get them is you have to use bone meal on these little palm leaves, and then you keep bone mealing them. And I think once you go into survival, you can punch them, and then you get the mangrove sapling. Just then, out of the blue. Oh. Okay. That's a thing. Now, sadly, mangrove trees technically do not exist. This is technically an oak tree, but this is just a placeholder, don't worry. Now, the frog lights, they each kind of have their own sort of style to them. So the green one kind of looks like an old sea lantern that's just been sitting and rotting for a while. The purple one, or really any of them you pick, but I think the purple one works best for a little display case showing off your items or your cool armor. The yellow one, I think, works really well, just really well, with sandstone. Kind of like a Star Wars design. And I thought that would look really cool. Now the Skulk, I had a lot of trouble with, more than the mud. Because you see, Skulk is not really a building block. I tried using the Skulk veins. I tried making some blue magma, as people told me, but I didn't think that looked really good. And I looked at this and I was like, maybe a carpet design would work. So I tried that. I don't really like this design. I don't think it looks that great, but I did like this design, and it gave me an idea for a little fake end portal. As you can see, we have all the eyes of Ender, and then we have the little void in the middle. But the rest of the Skulk blocks, they're mostly just for redstone and, all the technical stuff, which is still cool, but not really in building case. And even with the Skulk Shrieker, I only could think about one design, and that's this little shrine thing with the soul fire lighting it up. I think it looks really cool, but there's not a lot you can do with the Shrieker. And of course, once you set it off, it starts shrieking, and you gotta run away, because the warden will murder you. Now, with the boats with chests, there's not a ton you can do with them. I think you can make a pretty cool dock with them, but you can sit in them or tap them, and you can put all your items in there. I've been expecting this for a long time. I think it's a really cool idea, but really, what I was excited for when they announced this update were the frogs. The frogs, they're not building blocks, but I think that they're just the most cutest and handsome thing. Look at that face. So those were my little 1.19 snapshot building tips and tricks, sorta. This was actually a lot of fun to make. Hopefully I can make more in the future. But thank you for watching, and smiles to you!